How do we sort the problem that is the Conservative Party? The Conservative Party has gone through years now of demise and so many prime ministers, we've all lost count. But how do we sort the problem? How do the Conservatives once again become a party of force? Let's look back on the previous four prime ministers and how they did and how we ended up where we are today with such a small amount of MPs in Parliament. Theresa May, she actually did a pretty good job and was well respected within the Tory party. What she couldn't do was win votes. She lost 33 times in Parliament. That is a massive amount of lost bills and policy changes. It's not good for a Prime Minister to lose votes at all, but to lose that many, there was no way back for Theresa May. But she did introduce the Police and Crime Commissioner post. Now, a lot of people say it's a total waste of money. What do they achieve? What do they do? And I don't think any of us really know what they do. One thing she did do brilliantly was the deportation of Abu Qatada, the terrorist. So that was a really big thing for Theresa May to do. And of course, as former Home Secretary, you would expect her to be on the ball with things like that. She created the College of Policing and the National Crime Agency. Well, the National Crime Agency, I think, does a very good job. They're very thorough, they're very on the ball, they're very effective in what they do. But the biggest downfall with Theresa May was she couldn't get Brexit over the line, and those 33 defeats in Parliament were devastation. And then comes Boris Johnson. Now, Boris Johnson coming in a wave of excitement. Boris was a great communicator, a bit of a comedian. People did take to Boris Johnson, did like him very, very much. And of course, he came into power, and within weeks and months, it all went wrong. He came in with a great majority, a good working majority of 80 odd. And then COVID hit. He got Brexit done, but did he? Did we really benefit from Brexit? Has Brexit actually ever been done? He launched the COVID vaccination, the fastest in the world. That was a big thing, and Boris Johnson got a lot of praise for that. He was the first leader in the world to help Ukraine, and he got a lot of pat on the back for that as well. But his failure was his lackadaisical attitude to things, his total failure with the care homes during COVID, which really was horrendous. And then, of course, the Partygate scandal and all that surrounded that just totally destroyed Boris Johnson, literally overnight. Move on to Truss. This will be quick. She completely collapsed the economy. I could see what she was trying to do, and everybody else could as well. People who didn't know, it just didn't work, did it? It was too dramatic, and it freaked the FTSE, and it freaked the markets around the world, and we ended up in carnage, basically. And she was the shortest serving ever Prime Minister for just 7 weeks. And that's Liz Truss, really. Sunak come in, and I think by then the Conservatives were total busted flush. They'd finished. Nobody trusted them anymore. Rishi Sunak came into a hiding to nothing. You know, from a very, very wealthy family, a very, very wealthy man, didn't really understand the British public. And what did he do? Well, he came up with these 5 priorities, didn't he? And I'm going to list them now. To half inflation. Well, he did achieve that, but you would think so. He's a money man, so you would know that he would probably achieve that. But his other 4 priorities totally failed. Grow the economy didn't work, but really did he have long enough to do that? Cut the debt, well, it didn't. It soared, so that didn't work either. But of course, you've got to remember COVID cost absolutely hundreds of billions of pounds. How do you recover from something like that? You can't just wave a magic wand and it go away. And its waiting list to be reduced didn't happen, went up. And the small boat crisis, which still continues today, well after Richie Sunak has gone. And then we move on to Kemi Badenoch, leader of the opposition. I don't know what to make of Kemi. She's not giving Keir Starmer a hard enough ride. I don't really think the Tory backbenchers rate her very highly. I think the front bench of the Tories are sort of mulling around between themselves to try to work out how to get rid of her and who to install. But let's face it, the big name Tories have gone. There isn't really any left who people know anymore. So how do you find a leader from a total unknown brigade of people? And so how do we sort the problem that is the Conservative Party? Over to you guys. Thanks for watching.